Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Off the Press. I'm Randy Rohde, the news guy, Randy the news guy. I don't know, try to call it like that. So excited today. We have just man, this guy knows more about branding and conversion than probably anybody else that I know or have come across. Very excited to have Marty Marion on the show. Marty, I'm not even going to be able to attempt to talk about your background and depth of your experience. So I'll probably turn that over to you and let you do that. But before then, I'm just going to remind people uh, please go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, put your comments up in the comment section because I'm sure you're going to have all kinds of thoughts with Marty. I see Pamela is on board already. Hello, Pamela. Pamela, I know, has uh, uh, different kinds of, I don't want to say she's not an e-com site, but I know that she's got, in the space, we'll say. All right, Marty, give us an intro, a little bit of background, and man, and I've got all kinds of questions for you, so this will be good.
Sure. Should I start when I invented the internet? Or
Yeah, really. You know, after you walked off of the ark, right? Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, the intro that you gave me is spectacular. Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean, I could talk for a long time about my background, and sometimes I do, so forgive me. Um, I started accidentally by a very lucky accident um, where I was brought on to be the international director of strategic planning for one of the largest advertising marketing agencies on the planet a long time ago. Um, One of the big Madison Avenue giant multi-billion dollar agencies where we wouldn't even talk to you as a client if you didn't have $100 million starting budget to advertise. Now, this is pre-internet, of course, but it gave me a very unusual and priceless opportunity to see how the giant enterprise players approached marketing, creating brands.
Mm,
And at the end of the day, there's a lesson that
mhm,
comes out of seeing all of this. The first lesson is that you don't build a brand, your customers build your brand.
mm.
And they build your brand by voting for you over your competitors with their wallets and with their actions and with their loyalty to come back and purchase a second time and a third time and to be an advocate for your brand and recommend it to their friends. So, one of the things that amazes me, I'll get back to my background in a moment, is that I see a new generation of marketing experts, and wonderful, God bless them all, who are promoting, teaching how to build a brand strategy, um, branding. And I encourage this because the topic is a really important topic. It's not very, very well taught, unfortunately,
Mm.
by a lot of people. Um, and sometimes I read these posts and I watch these videos and I sit back and I say, no, 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 it's all wrong. You got it backwards. And I'll get back to my background in a moment, but here's the real lesson. You know the expression, oh, he wrote the book or she wrote the book?
Right, right.
Is a massive difference between writing the book and reading the book in terms of your ability to engage and deploy. There's a massive difference between reading the book
Mm,
and being told about the book or reading a synopsis of the book filtered by someone else. And so all of these new gurus of branding and marketing and strategy and e-commerce, they're 3 generations away already
mm.
from the people that wrote the rules, that tested everything. You've also heard the expression, there's nothing new under the sun, right? And the truth is that there are companies who are the world's leading companies in their fields who have spent many billions with a B, hundreds of billions of dollars testing different strategies, different approaches, different advertising formulas, different marketing programs, different channels. And they found what works.
Mm.
There is no way in the world that 99.9% of the marketers today who are primarily active on platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and et cetera, have the kind of budgets to do the kind of testing that Procter and Gamble or Johnson and Johnson or Kraft or General Motors or Coca-Cola have
Right.
spent on testing things. And so I went from this giant Madison Avenue agency uh, where I ran strategic planning for their A-tier clients in 30 countries. I got headhunted away to another of the giant Madison Avenue agencies um, that the TV show Madmen was built around. And my career there reinforced what I learned at the first agency. Um, all these grand strategies were created by the people who I earlier referred to who wrote the book. David Ogilvy, right? Les Wunderman,
Right.
George Wiedemann, Jay Chiat, on and on and on. And they were a generation before me, but I was fortunate to actually learn from them, sitting in the same room, talking,
Yeah.
learning, being told, being taught, shown what works, shown what doesn't work. And I came away from that, as all new generations come away from the previous model, with, oh, I know how to do it better. And so I went through a period of my life where I was consulting to a number of very, very large clients and initially recommending, well, let's try it this way and let's try it the other way. And what I realized was I was going contrary to my own teachings that I was taught. There is a way to do anything in marketing, and there are 1,000 ways not to do it. Trying to be clever, trying to reinvent the wheel, the better mousetrap approach always fails. It costs you money, it costs you time, and it doesn't work.
Mm.
And so what I came away with was the following. This is one of the things that I teach in my courses. And I teach this to all my clients. If you are not absolutely the only one in the world that sells what you sell or offers what you offer or does what you do, service, e-com, I don't care, then by definition, there are others who sell similar things
Mm-hmm.
or do the same thing you do. And by definition, that makes them competitors. And by further definition, that means that the target customer or client that you want has a choice. They can choose you, or they can choose your competitor. And of course, you want them to choose you, but your competitor wants them to choose them.
Mhm.
Only one's going to win. And so what happens is all of marketing, if you really dissect it down, is a matter of trying to achieve sustainable, non-erodible competitive advantage. Um, and you and I, Randy, we have quite a number of friends and colleagues who, I'll just pick on one, are in the business of SEO, search engine optimization, right? And I'm going to pick on Terry Samuels because I see his name there, and I'm going to be speaking at his very, very amazing conference in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm excited to see you there.
Oh, I'm going to blow the doors off some things. I'm going to teach
Nice.
something that I've never talked about before. But
Oh,
um, Terry's one of the all-time reputed, and I'll grant him this, experts in the world of search engine optimization. Um, and there are other people that do what he does. There are other SEOs out there.
hmm
There are other web development companies out there. So you ask, which one am I going to hire? And when it comes down to search engine optimization, most people will say, or believe that if I can get to position one on the first page of Google, I win. Well, all day long, I would much rather my clients were in position 3 or 4, but got the click. Being in position one and not getting the click, it's kind of useless. It's an ego trip.
mm,
And so what happens is if you even think about your own browsing history, if you search for something on Google, the search results page comes up. And what do? You scan through it, and you scan through it rather quickly. Your eye goes bang, 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 bang. And what
right,
happens
right.
is your eye stops on the very, very first listing that your brain subconsciously tells you to stop at because it recognizes that there is a synchronicity between what that listing is saying to you and
Mm,
what you are looking for. And so all day long, I'd rather be in position 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't care because with endless scroll now, and especially on mobile, people just go down. They keep going. They keep going.
right,
They
right,
like
right,
find something that makes them stop. And the
right.
reason for this is a principle called heuristics.
Wait. This is good. So you're saying the reason that people, they're scrolling, and then they stop. It could be on position 8, could be on position 2, but something, and you're calling it heuristics. I don't know this word, but I'm gonna follow up on this. All
H
right,
E
heuristics.
U Ristics, heuristics. And
Heuristics.
heuristics is basically a system of shortcuts, subconscious shortcuts,
Got
automatic
it.
shortcuts. We as human beings in this era of information and internet, and social media particularly, are bombarded with literally millions of messages a day.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, yeah, and I have these conversations with clients as well. I'm like, and they think, well, I just want to do like 1 or maybe 2 social media posts a week. I'm like, it's like throwing a grain of sand in the ocean. You are, you, that's not going to do anything.
I'll tell you a funny story about that in a minute. I'll give you a real life client story. But what happens is because we're bombarded by so many messages, and keep in mind, every single message is actually a question.
Hmm.
Every single piece of information that comes at us is a question. Now, it may not be phrased as a question, but it has the effect of a question. Do I believe it? Do I not believe it? Is it yes or no? Do I accept it? Do I not accept it? Do I want to pursue it further, or do I want to just let it in one ear out the other, right? Every single piece of information that hits us requires an answer, a response. And we don't have time. If we were to stop and ponder consciously every piece of information, every question that we're bombarded with all day long, what am I going to eat for breakfast? What pair of socks am I going to put on? What shoes am I going to wear today? What time do I have my first meeting? Et cetera, et cetera. It's just on and never ending. Now, the greatest majorities are very superficial questions, right? But some of them are very important questions that deserve spending time on. So if I'm intentionally searching Google to find something, answer to a question, solution to a problem, best product for what I'm looking for, then I'm asking a question. I'm asking Google, give me a list of possible sources of answers to my question. But I don't have time to read 30 websites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan down, and my subconscious brain is going to say, oh, that's the one. I don't know why it's stopping me there, but it is.
Right.
And what's really happening is the process of heuristics is very quickly, faster than we can process, saying, no, 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 yes. Decision-making, consumer decision-making, I'm going to get killed from this, is not a process of choosing what you want. It's a process of eliminating what you don't want.
I like that approach. I take that approach sometimes with my kids when they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, so do you know what you don't want? Eliminate the things that you know you don't want, because it will move you closer to the things that you would want. Yeah.
I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
And this isn't true, but I'll pretend it is. 2 weeks ago, I was walking in the street going to a client, and I dropped my backpack, and my laptop smashed all over the place into pieces. I travel a lot. I see clients a lot. I go to meetings a lot. I need a backpack. I need a laptop, a portable laptop. So what do most people think of when you search? Search intent. What am I looking for? What's the search intent? Best laptop. Well, you know what? Best laptop really isn't a search intent, because it's not going to give me what I really want. I may not be able to articulate it, but I want a laptop. Let me rephrase that. I need a laptop that doesn't weigh 15 pounds because I travel a lot.
Right.
I need a lightweight laptop. I also need a laptop that's powerful enough to crunch all the spreadsheets and the Photoshop files and the videos that I work on. So it's got to have good graphics capabilities. And I want a laptop that has a decent battery life, because I'm on an airplane 4, 5, 6, 7 hours.
Right.
So best laptop for what? So if I just type in best laptop, what's going to come up is all the review sites, all the affiliate review sites, best laptops of 2025, the 10 best laptops for 2024, whatever it is, right? That's not what I'm looking for. So as I scroll down, somebody was smart enough to make their page title, which is the most prominent part of the search return, say longest battery life laptops. And that's going to hit me subconsciously. I'm going to say, yeah, I need a long battery life. So I'm more likely to click on that listing than I am on best laptops of 2024.
Right. Or as well, if it was most mobile laptops or lightest laptops or something that resonated with you, even though you didn't put it in the search, but it was like, that's one of my criteria. I need a light laptop. Right.
You just brought up probably what I consider one of the single most important concepts in all of marketing,
Yeah.
all of sales, all of SEO, all of advertising, all of creative that no one talks about. And this is part of what I'm going to be teaching. I'll use an analogy. Okay. I'll pick on you, Randy.
Why not? Everybody does. You should come to my house. Yeah.
Get used to it, buddy.
It's a love fest. Yeah.
You want to buy a Rolex watch.
I do like watches. Yeah.
So the expectation is that you would search for best Rolexes, best prices on Rolexes, most reliable Rolexes, something like that.
Yeah.
And most people would consider that a search intent because you're saying, I'm looking to buy a Rolex. Okay, so we know that you're in the market, you're buying. What we don't know is why. Maybe you just got elected to the board of directors of a public company and you're going to be hobnobbing and meeting with very important people and you want to look successful. So you think having a Rolex on your wrist is going to make you look more successful, feel more successful, be admired by your peers, right? So that's your reason to buy a Rolex. Or maybe your daughter is graduating law school next week and you want to give her an amazing congratulations present that she can look forward to people admiring as she starts her law career. Or maybe one of your lifelong best friends is getting married and you want to give them an absolutely mind-blowing gift for their wedding.
That'd have to be a really good friend to give him a Rolex.
So this is what I call, and I've called this the intent behind the intent.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you go to create a website, when you go to create SEO services for a client, my philosophy is you want to go wide first before you go deep. What is wide? A page about best Rolexes as gifts, a page about Rolexes as a page about best Rolexes as an investment, a page about best Rolexes for wedding presents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that when people see this coming up in the search return, the heuristics kick in and say, that's why I'm looking for a Rolex. That's the link I'm going to click on. And so it takes a little bit of research on the front end. What are the 10 most frequent reasons why people want to buy a Rolex? I don't know them offhand.
Do I know what they are? I have no idea what they are.
Well, a little bit of research can help you find that out, right? And so when you look at the most important reasons or most frequent reasons people buy a Rolex, I would build my client's e-com website around those reasons because they're more likely to resonate, because here's the next piece that people don't really get. Just because I saw a link or a listing in search that resonated with me, even subconsciously, and I clicked it, when I get to the website, if you don't grab me, put your arms around me, love me, and never let me go, I'm gone.
Right.
Because I don't have time to waste. So there's a linear connectivity concept between what you're saying in your, I'll call it the acquisition component, whether it's SEO, PPC, social media, I don't care what the channel is. If you're looking to drive leads to your website or your destination or your physical store, there has to be a direct connectivity between what I'm clicking on and what's the first thing I see. Because if I have to go hunting through your website to find it,
Right.
I'm gone.
Right.
Right. Which is what's been happening lately, is that more and more people are realizing the importance of what I call first touch engagement. It's not enough to rank high on Google. It's not enough anymore even to just get the click. Now you have to have a first touch engagement with that searcher, with that clicker.
Right.
Get them to take an action that you want them to take.
And you're referring really is like that first touch, meaning when they first come to your website, that you want that initial, they come to this page, whether it's, the best Rolex reasons to buy a Rolex or cheapest Rolex brands or whatever. Right. But whatever, they land to that page, and it is how you engage in that first instance, then that's the most critical.
We as marketers have the ability to control, to a very large degree, not 100%, but to a very large degree, where any PPC ad, certainly, and where most of our SEO listings are going to click through to, right? Backlinks, set the hyperlink. Where is it going to go click to?
Right.
So if I'm advertising or marketing or SEOing or whatever I'm doing, best Rolexes for graduation gift, the assumption is whoever's clicking on that is trying to find a graduation gift. So the very first page they need to see is about graduation gifts, not a homepage about all your watches.
Right.
I buy and sell vintage watches. Nobody cares. They're looking for a graduation gift. And so this is why I say you have to go wide. In creating a website for my clients, I try to create as many category leads as possible. And once they're done, I've covered all the 10 most important questions or topics. Then you go deep. Then you take each one, right? And you go deeper and deeper and deeper, because that gives you topical authority in that space.
Right. Right. Now, can I ask, and if I say this because it seems simplistic, please, yeah, don't be offended by it. But I mean, what you're saying, it seems like pretty common sense. Like, your page should be about the page title. So when people click on it, they're going to see what they're expecting to see, right? So
To
when
a
you say like
degree, that's only the first step.
graduation gifts, you're going to come to that page because they clicked on the page title, in the search, and they want to see like, hey, here's all a bunch of different graduation gift ideas. And then,
or specifically, if I'm searching best Rolex for graduation gift, the very first thing that I want to see is why you should give a Rolex for a graduation gift. Now, that's a very narrow topic.
Right.
Is it worth wasting a page of content on a website for that one little topic? Well, it depends. What's search volume for it? What portfolio percentage of all the questions you ask about the intent behind the intent? Why do you want a laptop? You want a laptop because you're a student? You want a laptop because you're a graphic designer, a video editor? You want a laptop because you're programming and writing code? There's a lot of different types of laptops out there. So what I said earlier was we buy things, we make purchase decisions based on the process of elimination.
And probably as well, when you're starting to make that decision about content, do you do a page or not? I mean, some of it as well, it's like, well, what's the value of the product that you're trying to sell, right? I mean, if I'd create a page if I thought I'm going to be able to convert a buyer on a Rolex, right? Some $20,000 watch or more. Uh, golf tees. I don't know that I, right? So, a $5 object might not be as motivating.
Well, you're one of my favorite experts in the world of PR and publicity. And
Well, I
so,
appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. Thank you.
well, you are. I follow everything you do, and I see the work you do, and it's amazing quality. If I were you, I would be sitting in your chair, and I would be saying, "Okay, there are people out there who want PR, so that's an intent. I want to find a PR agency, or I want to do press releases.
Right, right.
Go to the next step. What's the intent behind the intent? Why do I want the PR? Do I want the PR for ego? Do I want the PR for introducing a new product? Do I want the PR for supporting brand awareness? Do I want my PR for competitive advantage purposes? Do I want it to build authority? There's probably 20, 30 top reasons
Right,
why
right.
anybody wants PR or publicity. And so if you look at the giant PR agencies like Rubenstein,
Right.
um, they'll have a division that does nothing but publicity and PR for building and introducing brands. And that's totally different from the division that handles PR for celebrities,
Mm.
which is totally different from the division or the experts in the company that write and produce PR for launching a new movie or a new
Mm.
product. So we all can't be everything to everybody, but we want to be. We don't want to give up business. We don't want to lose a possible client, right? And we want to turn every prospect into a client. Okay,
Right.
great. So we overpromise. And if you're in the world of brand strategy, as I am, I see these things all the time on LinkedIn and on Facebook. People teaching brand strategy, how to do brand strategy, how to build your brand. And they have a hard time even properly defining the difference between a brand and branding.
Yeah.
And they're totally different.
It's interesting you go down that road because over the last, I don't know, several months anyway, I probably have had a dozen conversations with people, not like clients or prospective clients even, but just, marketers and individuals, talking about brand and talking about wanting to build their brand. Um, because right now, I think, search is in such this flux, right? It's in the state of flux because of AI and AI generated search. But there seems to be this common thread, and I think where you're going is like incredibly valuable. But it seems to be this common thread of thought that says branding is going to be, and building your brand is going to be more important than ever for you to be able to stand out and um, distinguish yourself in this age of kind of search flux, we'll call it. And so I think this is very interesting. I would love to kind of dive into this whole concept about brand, whether it's branding, brand building, which I think is probably more where we would go. But I don't know. I'll turn it over to you as the expert, though. Um,
So, what is a brand? A brand is an entity, it's a noun.
right, right.
And as I said earlier, you don't build your brand. You can set the stage for having a brand built, but your consumers, your customers are the ones who build your brand.
Hmm.
Because if they try it and don't like it, they're going away and they're telling their friends, "Oh, that was terrible."
Right. Right.
So no one's going to continue, and you're going to go out of business at some point. You don't have a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Strategy about a brand is all about compelling prospects who have never used you before or bought from you before to believe that you're going to fulfill a need they have or solve a problem. So they're willing to give you a shot. But there's a concept in establishing a foundation for a brand, for enabling a brand to be built, where you have to work outside in. Okay.
Mm.
The first thing you do is you have to understand who is your target and what are their pain points. And then somehow in your marketing and advertising content, messaging, you've got to get them to the point of saying, yeah, that could work for me. That sounds good. I could deal with that. That'll solve my problem.
Mm.
But, and I'll pick on the world of e-commerce for this one. How many brands of, I won't pick on you for this one. How many brands of shampoo does somebody need?
Yeah. Thanks for not picking on me.
I love you, buddy. Me too. Um, I make up the fictitious Susan
Mm-hmm.
who lives in Chicago. And Susan has long, luxurious hair. And she's very particular about her shampoo. She uses, let's call it the Susan shampoo. She loves it. Makes her hair shiny and soft and clean and smells good and manageable and all that great stuff.
Right.
So when she runs out of the Susan shampoo, what is she going to do? She's going to buy more of it.
Go buy more Susie shampoo.
So that's her brand. That's her favorite brand, her incumbent
Right.
brand. But I would like her to buy the Marty shampoo, my new brand. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. Mine smells better. Mine's less expensive. You get 4 ounces more. I can talk till I'm blue in the face about how great my shampoo is. She doesn't care. She's already got a shampoo that solves her problem, fulfills her desires. I'm never going to get her to buy my shampoo until I publish an article that says, hey, breaking news. Harvard Medical School study finds that this chemical, sodium lauryl sulfate, is directly implicated in brain cancer. Here's the article. And I push that out through media all over the place. And it's a headline on my website and all this kind of stuff. And I say, this is a chemical most often used in shampoos. So Susie's going to run to her shower. She's going to pick up her bottle of Susan's shampoo. And she's going to look at the label and she's going to say, oh my God, sodium lauryl sulfate. It causes brain cancer. And I'm rubbing this stuff on my head every day? So now what I have done with that article is I have taken someone who is what we call bound to a brand or a product,
Mm-hmm.
and I have unbound them. I have given them a reason to either doubt that the brand is doing the right thing for them, the product, or I have caused them a sense of dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
Well, this stuff is going to hurt me because nobody's going to move from an incumbent brand to your brand if they already have something they're solid on that they believe and they like. So you've got to break the bond before they're open to replacing it.
Right.
Because if you're not the only one who does what you do, there are others. And if somebody is looking for a shampoo and it's not yours, they're already using some other brand. You got to get them away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So the task of marketing, the task of SEO, the task of PPC advertising, the task of all of this is about competitive advantage. You've got to get people away from their incumbent belief and position, and you've got to take them into yours because now they're open to try something new. I don't want brain cancer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and the Marty shampoo, Budweiser, Bud Light, several years ago at Super Bowl, one of the most brilliant. We call this, by the way, depositioning. You have a brand you like, I'm going to deposition it in your mind.
Yeah.
Several years ago at Super Bowl, Bud Light came out with a marketing campaign. It was all about depositioning, which is the best, strongest, most powerful approach you can take strategically. 4 words. 4 words. Brewed without corn syrup. Not less calories, more filling, better tasting. Brewed without corn syrup. What does that say? Most people know corn syrup isn't really healthy for you.
Right.
So I'm brewed without corn syrup. That's nice. It's healthier. It's healthy. It's okay for me. Brewed without corn syrup. But the real implication is that other beers I might be drinking have corn syrup, which is
Yeah.
not good for me.
Yeah.
Now,
Something I would not even have even thought of. Like, really, beer? What are there some beers brewed with corn syrup? I mean, I would have been like,
because they launched this at the Super Bowl,
yeah.
90% of Super Bowl people watching at home were drinking beer.
And they're like, what?
What? Corn syrup?
What? What?
Okay. So the most successful marketing campaigns of all time,
Mm,
historically, going back to the 50s and 60s and 70s, right through today, and they will be for the next 50 years, are depositioning strategies.
mm.
Where's the beef? You remember Clara?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where's the beef? What? Not our hamburgers taste better, they're made
Right.
fresher,
Right.
right? Where's the beef? I'm
Right.
unhappy, I'm dissatisfied with this crappy little hockey puck of a
Yeah.
burger
Yeah.
when the other chain has a big burger. Where's the
Yeah.
beef?
Yeah. Yeah. That whole element of doubt
What's in
about
your
your
wallet?
brand. Right.
Capital One, what's in your wallet? What?
Yeah.
Every number one leading brand, every number one leading brand in its category is the leading brand in its category because of depositioning the competitors.
Mm. Share. We talked a few months ago, and you shared a story about mouthwash, which was I was like completely like, wow, that was such a great story and a strategy, and it really highlighted this topic of depositioning. I think. Well, if you've got we've got a few minutes here yet, so if you have time, can you
Yeah, I'll run
pull
through it
that one
quickly.
up? Yeah,
I'll run through it quickly. So, Wayback Machine, back to the 1800s.
yeah,
Well, all the way back to the 1800s, dental oral hygiene wasn't a big topic for people, right? The Wild West and, all that kind of stuff. And nobody took care of their teeth. So, maybe you used a branch or a stick and you poked around in your teeth to get some food out or whatever it was. But nobody took care of their mouth, and your breath was terrible. You had
right.
horrible breath. But everybody had horrible breath, so you weren't any different, right? But as civilization started to grow up in the Wild West, right, and towns and cities got built and people got quote unquote more advanced, let's say,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, bad breath was a big topic, right? And so there was a very big movement to the concept of being antiseptic in medicine, right? Killing germs, killing bacteria, because they would cause diseases, right?
Right.
So antiseptics killed germs, let's just say.
Right. Right.
So Listerine, which was the very first real brand of mouthwash, took a liquid that they had been making as an antiseptic solution, and they said, you know what? Let's formulate this so you could rinse your mouth with it, and it would clean and kill all the germs in your mouth, because it's really the decaying bacteria in your mouth that causes bad breath.
Right.
So Listerine created the category of mouthwash. And their slogan was, kills the germs that cause bad breath. So what they did was they depositioned having bad breath.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you had bad breath, you were embarrassed because there was something to do about it.
Yeah. And it was brilliant, right? Like, kill germs. Like, yes, I want to get rid of the germs. It was like compelling. Yeah.
So Listerine actually invented the concept of halitosis.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want halitosis. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
And all their advertising was, the woman and the guy, and he was going to kiss her, and she's like, right? And over time, their advertising campaign was like, you really want to get that job interview? You want to be close to them? You want to invite them
Yeah.
over for dinner again? And so it was all about the embarrassment of bad breath. It wasn't about why you should use a mouthwash.
Mm-hmm.
It was about why you should not have bad breath. Okay? So that was depositioning to begin with. Then in the late 50s, early 60s, another company said, wow, this mouthwash category is worth a lot of money. Let's get into it. Let's make a mouthwash. So they created a mouthwash, and it was actually good. It worked. It was red. It tasted like cinnamon. And their strategy was, you know what? We're going to give this away to every dentist in America. So that when you go to the dentist and the dentist hands you the cup of water and says, rinse or swish,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you this instead. And so next time when you're in the supermarket or the grocery or the pharmacy and you're looking at the mouthwash aisle, you're going to see this red stuff, and you say, oh, that's the stuff my dentist uses.
Right.
Must be good. And it failed completely. Why? Because Listerine already owned the position as the medical approach to fighting bad breath. You didn't need another one. There was nothing wrong with Listerine. It worked. Why do I need this other one? It does the same thing. So they got clobbered. Well, then Procter & Gamble came along, one of the smartest companies in the world.
By the way, I remember that red one. It was Lavoris, right?
It was Lavoris, correct.
Tells you how old I am.
Right. And then Procter & Gamble comes along, and they said the same thing. Wow, look at this mouthwash category. It is so big. Let's get into it. But they were masters of positioning. So they said, you know what? We can't fight the medicinal position. It's already out there. They said, what could we do? We can deposition Listerine because it has a medicinal aftertaste. An original Listerine tasted like crap. You would rinse your mouth with it and you wouldn't have bad breath. What would you have? Medicine breath.
Right.
So Scope was introduced with the concept in the marketing program of fights medicine breath. Not fights bad breath, not kills germs, because everybody understood that the purpose of a mouthwash was to kill germs. But Scope was mint flavored, so it tasted good. And it left your breath smelling like peppermint or spearmint, right? Which is refreshing. Not like Listerine, which tasted like medicine.
Yeah.
So they came out and their marketing campaign was depositioning their competitor, Listerine, who owned the market, by saying, fights medicine breath. They made medicine breath the enemy. Who wants medicine breath? I don't want to be embarrassed. And so, in a matter of several months from introduction, Scope became the largest selling mouthwash in the world. And to this day, they have never lost that position.
Mm.
And it forced Listerine to come up with all these other flavored formulas to even stay in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So Listerine was now diverted from marketing to trying to save their ass.
Yeah.
So they came out with a peppermint and a spearmint and a whatever, right? You want to win in marketing? I don't care if you're a service business. I don't care if you're an e-com business. I don't care if you're a consultant, a teacher, a coach. It doesn't matter. Consumers eliminate before they choose. And they need a reason to eliminate.
Mm.
And how do you give them that reason to eliminate is by depositioning your competitors so that in the eyes and in the mind of your target customer or prospect, your competitors do not, cannot, will not solve the problem that I now know I have. I didn't know that medicine breath was a problem until you created it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't want it. So now I'm unbound
Right.
from using Listerine and I'm open to this new peppermint tasting mouthwash.
Yeah.
There's a formula for marketing and it always works. And it's worked for 100 years and it's going to work for the next 100 years. And it has nothing to do with how creative you are. It has nothing to do with how disruptive you are. It has nothing to do with how much money you spend in advertising or marketing. It has to do with one thing and one thing only. And that is, how do you position your product so the consumer target believes you're going to fill their need or solve their problem? And simultaneously, how do you deposition your competitors so the consumer believes they're not acceptable as an option? I eliminate them, I'm open to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect.
then what I'm going to reveal at SEO Spring Training, Terry Samuel's
Yeah.
upcoming event, is how do you actually do that the very first time someone hits your website? And I'm going to save that for Terry's conference because it's the first
Nice.
time I'm ever going to talk about that topic. How do you
Mm.
absolutely guarantee first touch engagement to get them to break the bond with their other previous incumbent?
Yeah. Marty, I love you, man. I tell you, every time I talk with you, I've got like pages of notes. I'm like, dude, you've got me thinking about what we can do on my end of our business. Well, let me share this here real quick. I'm going to share. Hold on. I want to bring this up so people can
Aha!
jump.
Look at that handsome guy.
Look at that handsome guy. People can jump over and over to your site, masterpositioning.com, and I'm going to drop it in.
Let me give people something for free.
Okay.
Scroll down to the very bottom of this page.
Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. Scroll up a tiny bit. Stop. You see the first of those three, the positioning matrix, says free
Yeah.
PDF download.
Yeah.
This is a free, no obligation, no gimmicks, whatever. Download a PDF file that I've written called Positioning and Depositioning, which explains the concepts behind what I was talking about today and a lot more. and it will hopefully change the way you look at your marketing forever. And it's
Mm,
free,
mm,
and it has how to contact me and all that good stuff.
mhm.
So it's absolutely
Right.
free, and I encourage people to.
Well, I tell you, folks, you better jump on this because it is, I think Marty just gave a great intro into positioning and depositioning. And so I think you'd want to dig deeper into this thing. So that's awesome, Marty. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm definitely going to download this thing myself. I am so looking forward to your presentation at SEO Spring Training. Uh, yeah, that's going to be exciting. When do you get in there? I get in there on the 3rd, that Wednesday, I think. So,
I'm
uh,
trying right now. I believe, yeah, yeah. I believe I'm going to be arriving on the Wednesday evening, or at worst case, very early Thursday morning.
all right, good, good. Um, yeah. What day are you presenting?
Um, I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Uh, I know, well,
Kelly
and I
would
know
know.
that Terry is doing Team Samuels. I say these guys are doing things a little bit, which I think actually is going to be great. They're doing things a little bit different than what they've done before. So
I'm
they've
so
got,
excited about this. I spoke at the
yeah,
very first SEO spring training.
yeah. Oh, here we go. So on Friday, so you're speaking Friday morning.
Right. So Clint is going to open up and host and introduce.
Yeah.
And there's my topic, the first touch paradox.
Yep.
Right. And what I'm going to talk about is not only why the first few seconds that somebody hits your website is the single most important opportunity you have,
Mm,
but how do you use SEO and other tactics to get someone to take a specific action? I'm not going to give it away here. Um, how do somebody get someone to take a specific action that will start to unbind them from your competitors and go to you?
hmm
It's monstrously powerful.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited for it. So I'm going to download your PDF. I'm going to read through that before I come to the conference, and then I'll be ready for step 2.
Fantastic.
Yes, yes. Man, Marty, thanks so much for carving out some time this morning and talking with us. I appreciate it.
Completely my
Um,
pleasure, Randy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, folks, go to masterpositioning.com, hook up with some nice resources for Marty, book a call with him as well. And better yet, even come to SEO Spring Training, meet him in person. There in Scottsdale here in a couple of weeks. I'll be there. That'll be fun. Really excited for that. I think they're still doing tickets for it. Pretty certain they are. So, folks, you can still get over there. I'm excited. We're one of the sponsors of the conference. So, yeah, it's going to be good. Um, all right, Marty. I don't know anything last minute. Anything you want to add or?
Well, one piece. Yeah, I
All right,
will.
one piece. All right.
Be careful when you are selecting
Hmm.
a consultant, an agency, a mentor, a coach, a service provider, to understand whether they are simply parroting what they've read in the book or they're someone who actually wrote the book,
Hmm.
right? Unfortunately, a lot of the great masters who created these principles are no longer with us. But there's a generation of people like myself and a bit younger who studied at the feet of these masters.
Hmm.
And to some degree, I feel like there's a few of us that are the last living speakers of this language, right? So we want to pass it on.
Hmm.
Um, Be careful about definitions. Words mean a lot.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference, as I said at the very beginning, Randy, between building a brand, having a brand built, and brand strategy and branding. They are not the same. Do
Mm.
they overlap? Sure. Which
Hmm.
comes first?
Hmm. That's a good question. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So just be careful out there.
Yeah. Good. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Folks, I am taking a break from next week. So we will not have a show next week, but I will have a show coming in right before I head off to SEO spring training. So taking next week off, but 2 weeks from now, we'll be back on. All right. And once again, Marty, always great to talk with you. Appreciate it, buddy.
Always great to talk to you, Randy. Thanks for the invite today.